point. That is, we're in the forward move. We don't see how we will have any barrier or hurdle that will stop the establishment of the court. I say that against the background first of the work we've done so far and the prospects for achieving all aspects of our work based on our action plans, all the support of government primarily as the source of funding, civil society organizations, professional groups, partners. I know the question will be if you are thinking about the partners with this drastic decision of the US government, how do you expect to continue the work? We have an understanding with the international community that this is a Liberian-led process and is owned by Liberia. And in terms of that, we have Liberians in the diaspora, we have Liberians in Liberia who are working along to ensure that this process will not stay course. We cannot say that sharp decisions that are made from the perspective of the international community will not affect what we do. But we can also let you know that we resolved as a country, especially based on all the guarantees and assurances that we have gotten from the president and the government, that there is no turning back. And we do know that other members of the international community are bent on ensuring that this process comes to fruition. Maybe you want to ask the question after you have asked people, what is the essence of the court again now that Senator Prince Johnson is there and he's still rest in peace? Well, let me say to you, this court, or the decision to establish the court, wasn't about saying the Prince Johnson. It's about redress and bringing sanity and removing from our society this sense of impunity. That's a good idea. So it's not about saying the Prince Johnson, about any particular person. In other words, the establishment of the court and the decision of the citizens is based on conduct. Ever as this court is intended to bring that person justice. You may also ask the question, but then it's been long and people are dying, including alleged perpetrators as well as victims. That's a fact. That's a reality. The reality of life is people will die. But Liberia is not experiencing a unique situation when it comes to that. I mean, just next door to Sierra Leone and the same experience. The highest civil war to establish this court. Well, in the process, some people died long before the court was established, and before persecution occurred. They pursued and succeeded in their own way. So in other words, I'm just letting them know again to this platform. We still have a lot to do. The court will definitely be established and prosecutions will take place. Maybe the other question will be, well, if we're just saying about prosecution, the answer is no. It's not about just punishing people. It's about bringing peace, lasting peace, to Liberia through a closure process. And that closure is to ensure that those who were victimized, they're still here today, will not go back to say, well, say I didn't have any kind of judicial answer, I will help myself to get redress. That's the reason why all of us must work together to ensure that rule of law prevail here. Well, then the question will be up to all of these that you have said. What is it that you are going to reach out? Let me say to the Liberian people, to the world, that this office is in its third, honestly, fourth month. Now that we are in February. So the office actually became functional on November 1 of last year, 2024. And today we're in February. So it's 3 months. In the 3 months, we used to say that we acquired the office, we operationalized the office. We have small staff in the office. We want to furnish our office in a way. Those are all structural things. In terms of the substantive work, we've had several meetings with civil society organizations, our foreign representations, and we've also been able, as a matter of requirement, to do a report for last year, 2024. For 2 months, the 2 months that we existed, a formal written report submitted to the President of Liberia on our activities. 2 months. And in that report, the President was informed several things that we've done: acquisition of the office, development of a roadmap, meetings with individuals and organizations in Liberia and out of Liberia, military trips, one in Sierra Leone and another in Ethiopia, for transitional justice purposes. So we have those here. We've established a number of technical committees. Those committees are supposed to be working on particular issues. So we expect that, I guess, having a meeting with the victims group and another civil society organization, we expect that by next week, those committees will become more functional. Also, the committees are for outreach, on venue identification, on publicity. For example, we want to make sure the high schools and grade schools are involved in this process, so that we develop a generation of people who will abide by the law. So we just throw out a competition for the development of the logo of this office among grade school students. I can assure you that we're very interested in having a lot of submissions, inquiries. So we're getting there on that. We also have had a particular review with media institutions, including the Judicial Reporter Association. We have engaged the judiciary itself, had some meetings, some discussions, we exchanged letters. We've been able to reach to other government institutions, law reform commission that is authorized, to lead the drafting of laws in the country. So they are working along with us for the development of the anti-corruption statute and finalization of the one economic crime statute. Both will be delivered to the President for submission to the legislature. And we also have a committee that is working on legislative engagement and lobbying. It's a big process, and we have to bring the legislators to understand fully well where we're driving to and what the implications are for Liberia. We have a committee that is quite legal. That committee is reviewing all of the difficult constitutional problems, potential hurdles that we may have. And some of those so the committee brought to our attention, what do we do when it comes to the Supreme Court's supremacy? What do we do when it comes to the Supreme Court as the most senior appellate organization in the country that has heard all appeals? How about this whole question of only Liberians are allowed to practice law? What do we do about that? Since we've decided that it is apparent that we establish a hybrid court. With a hybrid court, therefore, its international nature, both national and international, have all Liberian lawyers and judges, or we have international lawyers and judges? In terms of integrity, accountability, and what have you, we must remain or at least uphold the Constitution of the laws. So what happens? That is the reason why collaboration at all levels has become so compelling, so that we do not have a situation where we don't meet the requirements for ensuring a smooth and seamless process. The technical committee that we have also on venue is assessing where in this country we establish in terms of structure the court. Assuming that Liberia doesn't have the money to do a formal new building, which facility, public facility can we use? To do that, the committee is working with the security committee on the security aspect, assembly and security. If we establish a committee, the court in Banga, for example, what are the concerns security-wise? If we went to maybe another county or another city, what happens? That committee also has a subcommittee that is working on facilities. Facility in terms of, the holding facilities. So when you indict people, you have to keep them somewhere. So that committee also is working on that with the subcommittee so that they are clear that people will not go to a holding facility overnight, attack the place, break it in, then there's all this thing about, we can't have the court anymore because we allow people to break the jail. So that can have a community structure for that. The reason why we need you, led by our bigger brothers here, as an integral part of this office, is to help us, one, to manage expectations. Very important for us. We have to manage the expectations. And to manage expectations, we need that ear that is on the ground. Quite analytical. We believe the media can do that. Two, we also have to manage messaging. We cannot be carrying distorted messages to the public. So when you see us banging on the media, it's because we are organized and we have a holistic approach to do the kind of thing we're talking about. Three, this is not a Monrovia process. This is a Liberia process. A Liberia process means Monrovia or Monrovia County is not Liberia. That is the reason why even the media out of Monrovia or Monrovia County is key to what we are doing. And that's why we are establishing a partnership with Alipo, so that partnership will filter into the bigger collaboration that we have. It's very important. The messages we send out to our people in the interior parts of the country, must be clear. So we hope that can be the case. We also believe that to do that, our journalists may have to be propped up in terms of their capacity, right? So we have engaged in a number of institutions and said to them, we really do need capacity building of our media practitioners. And we're hoping that will come to pass soon because we've been discussing that substantively. But all of these go into the government's program. And this is about the government and the people on the day. That's the reason why we collaborate very closely with the Ministry of Justice, that then links us with the Office of the President, and we do that alongside the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs reports to this process. We're just about to send them another letter, because if we are thinking about moving from here, for example, to the Gambia, that has just had its process endorsed by ECOWAS, we don't just want to go to the Gambia. First, we want ECOWAS to be aware that we are going to the Gambia, and other partners to be aware. And we want it on a basis, state-to-state basis, not just as an office. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is relevant to engage. at that level and the arrangements are made, that also filters into our relationship with the international community, at least at the level of the United Nations as well. Because when it comes to funding, it may not necessarily come from a country that may not want to contribute at this point, but the other countries who want to contribute, so therefore, we're going to ensure that there is coordination. 3 countries can buy tickets for the same people who go to the same country. So the 3 partners say, oh, we'll buy you a ticket to go to Gambia. You can sponsor 10 persons. Another partner says we can sponsor 10 persons to the Gambia. And we now have to make a judgment decision. And that would be, you can't take 10 tickets to go to the same place and come back and go to the same place. So that decision will be, do we increase the delegation? If we increase the delegation, does that mean that we'll have food and lodging, accommodation, all of those, we take that into account? We can't make that decision. Because everywhere we go, we want to make sure our outreach includes the media. So if we have that consideration, we may then come to Aliku, for example, and say, here's where we are. We have this opportunity. What is your plea? We come to the bigger brothers in the profession. What do you think? I'm saying that to come to the point that this process is consultative. It is not a desk arrangement. That's why most of the time I do not in the field. It's a consultative process. I want to consult as broad as possible so that we can benefit. If we don't have a bad influence on young people, it's unbelievable. So when we come to all of these issues, we expect people will be frank to tell us the hard truth and suggest to us the way forward. To do that, we don't expect everybody to come from all over Liberia to come here. Not possible. It's not possible. It's come here, listen. So the way we do it is to make sure that we have something at least that we can stay to the place and call. So the office has just established a hotline process. That hotline process is intended to go out to people and tell them you want to engage the office. Here are the numbers. Here's the blue star number. Here's the orange number. You can engage the office. You want to do a WhatsApp? These numbers are on WhatsApp. But it's also possible that some people will say, well, I don't want to make telephone calls. I don't want to do, WhatsApp message. I want to go beyond that because I want the record to be straight. And I want to be able to check, verify that what they are saying to me is true as I respond to them. And the way to do it, therefore, is to say, well, the things that we are doing, including what we're doing right now, can be, available to the world as a whole. So we have to struggle, to establish a website. Today, as we speak, I'm very glad to see that we've completed the website for this office. And it's functional. What that means also for us is that people who have been communicating in our personal emails, they've been informed, those email addresses are not functional for the office anymore. The office has an email address, which is quite standard, and we have email addresses growing out of that process are quite standard. That way, we now begin to think about where are we with respect to maintaining our records. When we started this office, one of the difficult things was to find pieces of furniture and pieces of equipment. Because we didn't have the money. And I'd like to, here at this point, thank Clarence, you see, I call him by the first name, Team Master Clarence, because I want to come in with my first name as well. We on a first name basis here, because in the field. I was working, no customer business here, no barrier. Come in Ghana, and then move on to do the job. But Team Master Clarence came here and literally tormented and tortured me. Not for bad intent, but to get clear information on where we are, what the situation is, where are we going, what our relationship is with government, what the support of the government is so far. And I can tell you at that time we have received nothing from the government. But I did tell them that I am not afraid to say so. I have no reservation to tell the world that we have gotten nothing from the government. I said the reason why I'm not afraid of having any reservation in this is because when the government gives us support, I will also be claiming and hitting the ceiling on the top of the table and tell the world the government has given us this. That is why when the government provided support in cash, like $368,000, 40% of that in Liberian dollars, at the rate of 178 per dollar, and 60% in US dollars, we immediately on that day, when we received the check to take to the bank, issued out a press release to say thanks to the government for this grant and to encourage the government to continue its support to the office. We went further to also thank the UK government for sponsoring us to Sierra Leone, more than $5,000. A portion of which was returned because not everybody's delegation went by. So we did that. I'm just telling you in terms of accountability, we want to be open, transparent, and you see everybody has it. So our website will continue everything that we're doing here. Office, and the president has reviewed our annual report that we sent to him 2 months ago. I mean, 2 months ago written, which we sent last month. The public can be assured that they will be released to the public. Sure. For accountability purposes, we ask the RAA to come in, the Internal Audit Agency. We want to tell the Internal Audit Agency to come in and give us a full-blown guidance on what to do. We also had a meeting with the Controller and the Accountant General, so that the Controller and Accountant General will come and see what we're talking about, and then guide us and lend us a hand as to how we should proceed with what we can do. For our expenditure, we receive the form, we have to submit an expenditure plan to the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of State, so that the ministries are clear in what we're doing. For the acquisition of this building and for spending, we had to do a procurement plan that had to be approved by the PPCC for procurement profession. And I'm happy to report that we had a full guidance of the PPCC because we insisted that we should go by the rules. The PPCC worked everything out with us and made sure in the process. For the acquisition of this building, we also work with the GSA and that the GSA. But the GSA also controls the acquisition of vehicles. You don't go on their projects. They have specific kind of vehicles. So we have to go back to the GSA and say, well, we've scouted, but it's left to you. So I want to report to the world. And the GSA worked with us 100%. Purchase the vehicles we purchased for the office. Prior to that, we did not have any vehicle for this office, so we used our private vehicles. And despite the inconveniences at times when there's a breakdown thing, we have not had $1 spent from this office to repair anybody's private vehicle. Never made us. So where we are, we're now pushing for a number of other things. This conference room has been furnished by the Swiss government through the OHCHR, that's the Office for High Commission of Refugees and the United Nations. Human Rights of the United Nations. That office is coordinating all of the partners' activities for the WBC. So we did directly to the OHCHR through his head, representative or Mr. Christian Okosa, who has been very, very cooperative and supportive of the program. So we're in there for that. We have a little bit of issues here that we handle in terms of funding yet to be addressed. We do know that the budget cycle for the government is January 1 to December 31st. So the government takes that time to get its budget ready and approved, for operations. And literally every institution of government is supposed to be in that budget. But it may be then not as a specific, budget line item, or maybe on somebody or some institution. For this office, we are attached to the Ministry of State. We are not sending a limited budget. For this office, currently, we have $313,000 appropriated for the budget year. In other words, we are uncertain as to how we continue if that money runs out. And I'm saying if because clearly $330,000 is still significant for a year for this place. So we've been working with the Ministry of State, and he understands very well, along with poor other government officials, that yes, we have to do something about this. But we've also been looking to the partners for the support. So we're hoping that comes through as well. Today, I can report that we do not owe any leasehold for this building. They came out of the government's grant to us. We do not owe salaries. Yeah. And that is because we managed what the government has given us at this first grant of $368,000 a set. So we do that. We ought to purchase the vehicles. We ought to purchase a number of furniture, equipment, smaller ones. And to do meetings, pay for them, and take people around. We do know that about 2 weeks ago, an institution which is also, supporting our process, published an article. And in that article, emphasized or asserted that they were quoting me that I said as of November 1, we have expended $368,000 given to us by government. And that the partners were concerned about that expenditure and were demanding a report as a condition for providing further support. Let me say here to the Liberian people and the entire world that besides the $5,000 given by Sarah Leone and the ticket and accommodation that was paid for my travel to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and the conference room set you see here, and tables, and that elevation given by OHC Arrow by the Swiss people, we have not received money from anyone else but the government. So the government has been the most supporter of our process. However, even up to this current time as we speak, we have been judiciously managing the $368,000 and spending with founders. Fortunately, as an accountant myself, I follow the accounting process very well. And as I said to you, we invited the Controller General here, and the IAD. We won't let the people know that here job. You're performing a national service. And that is the reason why people come here sometimes 7 o'clock and you don't leave until 9, 10 o'clock. It was only today that I issued out a memo. Now, I appreciate you all very much for coming here so early and staying here late. When I'm here late, and when I said, well, you said, no, you stay here, so we'll work with you. But your departure should not be based on my presence in the office. It's possible I'm staying until midnight. You don't have situation. I have security with you. I cannot subject you to staying here at 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Then you have to go home. And I'm going home and at least some officer that is sitting by me to protect me. They don't have that. So I encourage my people that your departure from office should not be based on my presence in the office. Because it's unfair. It should rather be based on office hours at expired. And you want to go. Not contingent on my presence. I'm just letting you know that we're not angels. But we try our best. The first projection is that ultimately the code will be established, operationalized, and issue indictments, and have people tried within this term of His Excellency President Barker. Let me repeat. This office will continue to work with the Liberian people, and the courts will be established, operationalized, have people indicted, conduct trial, and reach decision during this tenure, this first term, if there will be a second, or at least this term, if there will not be a second, of His Excellency President Barker. It is not my decision or my authority. It is the government's decision. It is the government's resolve. It is our responsibility to meet that mandate. And we will do everything to do so. We will work as our fallback position is the government's support. 100%. That's what we work through. If partners come in, I'm sure they will, then we buttress the government. But the government has full responsibility and is aware that it is his responsibility to do this. So we get done. I don't want us to panic that because the government has made $330,000 available for this year, so we may not reach anywhere. But let me say to you, you're coming here, going back, sitting down with us. It's not being paid for. But when we convert this into dollars and cents, it's a lot of money to keep a journalist in the office for an hour. It's a lot of money to have them broadcast. It's a lot of money as well. So what is great about this is the partnership that we have, the collaboration that we have. So we are building it all over the place. We may not necessarily have to go to let's say Bonjama or some other faraway county, at the moment. But because Aliko is there, because other civil society organizations are there, and because we are collaborating, the message we will have, the interaction we carry on there, they should just do it for us there. And that is what we are doing. It doesn't mean that we will not go to places. But even when we go to places, we may not necessarily have to transport people. We may not even have to provide food for them to eat. But what if you went somewhere and you had an activity that is attractive and people from the villages came to see? What happens? The essence is to let people believe in the process. And that is what we're doing. Today, you see all of those documents over there, huge stack of photographs, newspapers, books, publications, and you name them, that we have been able to amass. What we're in right now is to digitize those instruments, to scan them, and put them in electronic form. And these two computers you see right here are meant to hold those documents in electronically. And then we connect them to this television. Hopefully put another one out there. And we can have a rolling process that people can begin to see, physically what we are doing. And also to give the brain an opportunity to come and say, I want to know something about this. And say, right to that machine. And plug on what you view them. The other thing we want to let the brain know is that we're not allowed to abuse the information. You cannot come in and say, I want to copy, I want to put my email, or I want to do something to send it out somewhere. Because it will be very confidential. And it can be used in-house and not outside. For those that are not ready for public access, will be locked in so that people can just access them. But for others, of course. So let me say to you, by the 15th of February, we'll have a real blueprint laid out on where we are going, how we're getting there. On that note, let me thank you very much, emphasizing that this is not about ticket to the bank. This is about expressing our absolute confidence in the people of Liberia. Resolve to bring impunity to an end. And to therefore come back in here, regardless of what is required. Our energies together will bring about synergy and will establish the course. Meaningfully, what happens here will determine what happens with the court. So in this office, it is not trusted. We don't expect people to trust the court. So the emphasis here is absolute confidence in the office. Rest assured, that will be the case. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the work of this office is on the right trajectory, copy the statement, and this office will oversee the establishment of a court that will try people of interest or indict, and there will be trial under this administration. The words of the Executive Director of OEC. Now we found the acronym OEC when the delegation from the committee who President Johnson were in town, they kept saying, let's go to the WEC office, let's go to the WEC office. So my boss as well, then he said, well, we can do something, man. OEC is pronounceable, we can do it. And so we started calling it OEC. So that's how we call it short, just to avoid it. The two brothers here, one senior, one junior, we're here doing the first interaction. You know the protocol, relax yourself. It's conversational, it's not a normal, yes, excuse me, my name is, I've read for this, and you already done that. So you took your notes. When you want further clarification, you feel free to get into it.
Well, as I said, I was doing good. I'm keen about what you said. Say the Office of Work Control will be established, operationalized, have people indicted and conduct trial in this term of Waga's administration. And when you clearly stated that the first allotment is just in the tune of 313,000 which is dropped in the ocean for what we intend to do. What's the prospect when you mean 4 years of the work?
Okay, so thank you. Let me just make the first correction in the necessary,
Yeah.
It is not about establishing the office, because the office already established, right?
The office for the establishment of the
courts
court.
will be established, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the courts will be established within this term. I'm confident about that. And for me, I believe in leaders and their expressions. That's the first thing I believe in. I don't believe any president has any reason to come up with a process of this kind and play on it. I don't believe that. This is a national calling, but this is also a legacy issue for our republic. I don't think anybody wants to play with it. It's not a legacy just for the president. It's a legacy for our republic. That's one. Two, we are engaging and interacting not only with ourselves, but with others who are being in this kind of process before in other countries. And one of the things that we have at our, fingertips as a springboard is the political will established by all of our religions. While other countries find it difficult to even engage the government, their ministers in office, our country has opened its arms very wide and says to us, anything you think we can discuss, let's discuss. Whatever we can do to provide guidance, let's do it. And we know that it is our responsibility to move this process forward. So that political will that has seen first a grant to the office is something that we have to really, applaud. So with that political will and the availability not just of the executive, but even members of the legislature. Because just today, this morning, I had a conversation with a number of legislators in this direction, and they expressed their interest in ensuring that the process moves forward. We must move forward judiciously. It's clear to me that as confidence is built, that the process is composed and expanding, then necessity becomes the mother of invention. In that case, it becomes necessary to put more money because it's necessary to now find the courtyard or the courthouse. It's necessary to train litigators, some of whom we have already identified. It's necessary to train judges, some of whom we've already identified, and we start moving on. So I believe that national ownership by our country makes all the difference. I also believe that the prospects don't only lie in the government, but all of us here, that now see ourselves collaborating to have this. I'm sure when you leave from this, when you on your radio station, you tell the people how to live today, in your opinion, X, Y, and Z. It seems that answer questions X, Y, and Z. But it seems they also answer questions here and there. So that collaboration is important for us. So all of this moving the process and going forward. Finally, our own approach of remaining available, open, accessible for engagements, is something that we really want to make sure that we do not temper with. In fact, we elevate it. So yes,
Before we take the next question, this section will last for not more than 15 minutes from now. What next?
You ask the question, then I will ask, and then we will clear it. For me and my friend, we know everything about them. Even the one that they don't know. So, your coming here is to get the form, and then open one more thing, and use your office to learn credibility of what they do. So will not be asking people to be listening because we told them exactly what we're saying.
So I'm also concerned about organizations, NGOs that are seeking funding for a transitional justice issue. How are you trying to mitigate that the fact that they don't use your office to symphony. They don't use the detriment of the office to symphony for their non-governmental projects in aligning with the objective of your work.
Again, I cannot give sufficient value to that question you asked, because that is a source of confusion. The first thing we said to all of the actors, at the end of the day, we have to tell the entire world, especially Liberian people, to establish this court, it costs us X million of dollars. And if somebody said to us, no, we see your report and it does not include our 1 million that we spent, then we can tell that person, no, you spend your 1 million as a personal initiative and not for the court, because we not go through the appropriate channel. And they ask us, what was that or is that channel? And we say to them, you are aware that first an office was established in November, operationalized in November, engaged all of you in November, including the international community, and established a coordinating arm through which all activities of the war crimes court establishment is handled. If you chose, therefore, to do something on your own, we cannot in any way include that in our process. The flip side to that which we have to guard against is not the money, but the message that goes out there. If a group of people went out there and took a message that is inconsistent with the message developed by this office and its partners as the driving message, we'll have to inform that person that your message is in error, your conduct is unacceptable, it derails our process. Let me give you a typical example. Just recently, when a group of individuals were in the country to do a piece of job, and prior to our existence, they had already arranged to come in all of those. But when they were told that we exist and that there's no way they can perform anything for review, interviews, whatever it is, without engaging us, we automatically were brought in, consulted, and we played the lead role. I was out of Monrovia for a week, ensuring that the right things were done, alongside other government actors, so that we do not delay the process. At this point, Liberia needs every support. But Liberia cannot have a white elephant support that becomes difficult for us to manage. We would prefer not to have that white elephant support than to have it, and it destroys us as a nation. So we're clear about that. So therefore, all of the civil society organizations, the CBOs, and other actors are well informed